And we're live. Hey, y'all. Thanks for being here on this wonderful Wednesday. Got another health Q&A lined up for everybody. And for anyone tuning in to these for the first time, this is our opportunity where Toni Weel and I get to serve the community and take health-related questions. And I provide my little bits and pieces that I've accumulated over the past little while, and Toni adds her tremendous amount of wisdom and knowledge that she's acquired studying under Dr. Morse as a trained iridologist and detox specialist. And so yeah, we're just trying to help everyone clear up any misconceptions, confusions around health. What is the proper diet? How do we return back to alkalinity? And all these wonderful things so that we can all kind of learn together, and we don't have to feel like we're doing it alone. So yeah, so with that, thanks for being here, Toni. Did you have any introductory words for us today?
Oh my gosh, Justin, I thought you would give me a way, way longer introduction, so I didn't have to do that. Okay, yeah, I think I should tell a little bit more about myself.
Sure.
I'm originally from the Netherlands, and I always thought that I was the most healthy person out there. I figured I could do anything and everything. Was working sun up till sundown and beyond, midnight, long hours, pretty, in a way, pretty active. Although the business I had I didn't move around too much. I was in the Netherlands until 2003. That's when I moved to Florida. But I started traveling already in 1981. Got myself a Harley and traveled around, did that every year. And still felt that I was pretty strong, but I was getting these little things. I had already had my gallbladder removed when I was 19. Grew up with always having ear infections twice a year, spring and fall, never failed, 12 years, from 6 months old until, well, pretty much 13 years old, and then it stopped. So that is already an indication that you're not healthy. But, moving along, when I was under a lot of stress in my early 20s, I got so sick that I was actually paralyzed from the neck down, just high acidosis. And they gave it a nice name because I had all these bumps on my arms and on my legs, and they called it erythema nodosum. Now, I probably pronounce it the Dutch way, but all it meant was painful red swelling, and they had no clue what it was caused because, the allopathic doctors, they don't know much about the lymphatic system, and neither did I. At that same time, I was also diagnosed iridology, German iridology. It's a little different than what Dr. Morse is teaching us. But he told me I had bad kidneys. That was that. I was never told what to do about it. Always lower back pain. But, I had fallen with Jim in a nasty fall. I had some concussions. I had some things that maybe kids have a lot, maybe not, but I did. So I thought that was the reason, realizing now that all that lower back pain was related to the kidneys. So now I've added quite a few more years and still have the kidney problems. And but still, over the years, I could do whatever I wanted, although I had 2 herniated discs. That hurts bad. No surgery, no medication, and just a rest. I've been into pretty healthy food actually most of my life, although I have to say that when I came to the US, those nachos were good, really good. And the Mexican food too. So that was not the healthy part, and same thing with all the cheeses I ate throughout my life, because that's what I grew up with. Holland and cheese, that is just has to go together. I haven't had any cheese now for over 5 years. No meat, no dairy. I've never been a big meat eater. But still, despite that, I was thinking I was eating pretty healthy. And this is something that I hear a lot of people say, oh, but I eat healthy. Now, what is healthy nowadays? Because you cannot open a magazine or a website or a group. They all have it about, they are all about health. They all tell you how to lose weight, how to be healthy, and they're all wrong. They all guide us on the wrong path. And nobody really goes into what is our species. How do you say that? Species correct
Species
food?
specific diet.
Say
Yeah.
that again.
Species specific diet.
Ah, that was the word. Species specific diet, and that is fruit. So I didn't know that until 5-6 years ago. I got into the all raw foods, and I thought, this is it. I'm going to be so healthy. I was already trained 3 years before that as a health coach, but never used it because something did not feel right. And although I was all these years really into the raw foods, but yeah, I was eating, nuts and seeds a lot, quite a lot, because I made the most delicious crackers. And then I put avocado on it. I mean, how perfect is that?
So good.
And I made these sauces from cashew nuts, dipping sauces, and with garlic. It's all raw, so it was all very, very delicious. And I got sicker and sicker to a point that I was pretty much bedridden. I could barely do anything on my own, and I was depressed. Didn't feel like I really wanted to live. Because what was the point? I couldn't do anything, and I was doing everything I thought that was possible. And then all of a sudden, looking on the internet, because there was not much else I could do. I couldn't work anymore, and I had severe brain fog. Now that has to do also with a heart attack I had, and a surgery on my leg. But that aside, it was just a horrible time. And there is a video by Dr. Morse. And all of a sudden it clicked, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing wrong. And I had to stop all the nuts and the seeds. And I had already learned quite a bit from months watching the whole day Dr. Morse's videos to really get it. That was actually when I met John Stearns. And he read my eyes, and he gave me a few points and wrote me an herbal protocol. And I was like, this is what I need to start learning. And I start taking Dr. Morse's classes, including the Iridology classes, but I don't have experience with it. So it wouldn't actually be right to say I'm an iridologist, because yeah, I know the basics, but I'm still like, I leave the rest up to John Stearns or to Patty Lager or Marcy Thunderman, who was Dr. Morse's right hand for many, many years. And there will be a point that I will dig into that more, and I can say, yeah, I am an iridologist. I can read anyone's eyes. But for now, I leave it up to the specialists who do an absolutely amazing job. And now in the last few years, I realize what can all set you back if your kidneys are not filtering, and if you're eating the wrong foods. And the wrong foods can be really, really simple. Mm-hmm. So many things cannot work for you. There are people who cannot drink apple juice because they get horrible stomach pains. And you may wonder, well, it's so healthy for us, but we are all at a different state of health, or at a different state of acidosis. And for some it's less, for others it's worse. And so you do different things, and you try out different things. And what I would like to get to also is the importance of, like, when you see that light bulb coming on and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I need to get on all fruit. So let's do it. Tomorrow I'm starting my all fruit thing. And all I can say is, sounds great, but don't do it. Because your body will not like it. You see it as like stirring up the toxins and nowhere to go. It's not working. Go slow, transition slowly, leave out, the meat, the fish, the dairy, including cheese and yogurts. Don't forget that. That's dairy too. And eggs, and then leave out the grains and the beans, the cooked food, and make it a transition. If it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 months, it's okay. The only thing is, if you are diagnosed with a stage 4 cancer, for instance, yeah, your steps may be a little different. And that is where I would say, oh my gosh, absolutely talk to a practitioner who can guide you through this. Because you will get through, difficult times with your detoxing. But other than that, if you take it slow, you can still get detox symptoms, but they will not be as harsh, and your body is getting used to the change. So in with that, you, even if you want to ask herbs, you always start with the kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
The kidneys need to filter. I see that pretty much everybody has, when you look at the blood pressure, ideal, it would be 120/60, top one adrenals, bottom one is your kidneys. And it can be higher, it can be lower, but it's all indication that that is something that you need to work on. And then we come to something that a lot of people are forgetting, and that is parasites. If you ever ate meat, and especially pork or even fish or even, raw fish, you have parasites. If you have cravings, you have parasites. If you are losing a ton of weight when you shouldn't, and you haven't taken any herbs, and I would suggest clean out your GI tract. And that makes me think of an email I got from what's his name, Kelly. I think it was Kelly. And he mentioned he did not want to take any herbs because he liked to keep it KISS. But you get to a point where you actually have to do something to stop your excessive weight loss, which happens to quite a few people. And I think you went through that too, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what it is that you are malabsorbed. You're not absorbing all the fruits that you are taking in. And if you don't absorb that, then yeah, you will lose weight. So my gosh, clean out your guts, clean out the GI tract. And we have ways to do that. And definitely get rid of those parasites. We have ways to do that too. There are a lot of herbs that can work with that. It doesn't matter if you would use Dr. Morse's herbs. I do like them because they're gentle and very effective. But there are other herbs on the market. So those are the basics. I got totally off track with introducing myself, but that's what you do when you don't script anything.
Well, it's great. I mean, and a lot of good information. And just to touch on the iridology. So we just started up a new series on my channel called I See Clearly with John Stearns, who Toni Weel's mentioned. And yeah, we basically just go over the eyes and the iris and how you can read these windows into our health. They say the eyes are their windows to the soul, but they actually do a pretty good job at looking at our overall health as well. And so if you are curious about the state of your health and kind of what areas you might need to focus on, an iridology reading is really, really quite helpful. So yeah, getting in touch with someone like John Stearns or the other people that Toni mentioned. She's got a lot of individuals that she can recommend. And then just working with a detox specialist on your plan, what you need to do. And you don't necessarily need an iridology report to do that. So Toni is wonderful at giving tips and advice and helping guide people on the detoxing journey, because it's different. The overall path is the same, whereas we need to be shifting towards the fruit, and we need to be cleaning up our diet and working in that sort of way. But it can vary differently from person to person, depending on where we're coming from, depending on our different genetic weaknesses and what shows up and where we are within the path. So having a consultation with a detox specialist is really quite helpful for those who really want to get that little bit of extra boost. Or you can just do a lot of research, which is what we like to provide here, which is just more information for people to learn and to grow so that we can all do this together.
Yeah, I have Jensen's book that I can send to people. I don't know if I ever sent it to you, Justin. It's a small book, and I always forget the title. Oh yeah, it is. It is actually a very thin book, but it is so handy and it explains so many things. It's called Iridology Simplified by Bernard Jensen. He was actually a nutritionist. And that is an introduction to the science of iridology and its relation to nutrition. And I am also, I believe that, that's why I always, before I talk with people, ask them to fill out the health questionnaire, because it gives you have talking points once you have an appointment with someone, and symptoms give a good indication about what's going on. But there are times where if somebody is really sticking to the diet, we're still missing something. And for me, it was that, and I'm not even aware that I had lung issues. And these showed up on an iridology photo of 2 years ago. And only recently I found out I live in a house with mold. So that explains my lung issues, but I don't feel anything. I have no problem taking a deep breath or anything, yet it is still there. So what iridology actually do, I see it also as a warning for the future, be aware. And it's not so much as that the protocol would really change, as in what to eat, because you always want to get yourself to an all raw and high fruit lifestyle. I mean, that's the basic of everything. The thing is that when you something shows up in the iridology reading that you were not aware of, it could be parathyroid, pancreas, pituitary, whatever it is, and that can be seen, then yeah, you can take the appropriate herbs for, they're all tissue specific. So that is the way that you can work on. But if you don't intend to take any herbs whatsoever, and just go by diet, it takes longer, but it will still work.
Yep. Yeah, well said. Okay. We've got a few questions in the chat so far. Do you want to jump right into those?
Yeah.
Okay. So Danielle asked, can you talk about vinegar and fermented foods? I know you've talked about it before, but I had a friend ask me about it today.
That's just a big no. You don't want anything that is rotting in your body. Why would you want to do that? I know it's very popular, but the only reason that fermented food exists is that they need it to preserve for the harsh winters, and they figured out a way to do it. But fermentation is rotting. And you don't want to add anything that is fermenting in your body. It gives you gas. I know from a lot of people, it gives them problems in their GI tract, and from stomach problems to belching to a lot of gas, and it's just a big no. And if you think that apple cider vinegar is healthy, no, it's not. If you have ever a recipe that talks about apple cider vinegar, use lemon. Always use lemon. You don't need the apple cider vinegar, and you don't need all the fermented food, and neither do you need that delicious kombucha tea. I did that too because I liked it.
Well, and if you just think about it, like it was fermented things are preservatives, but when we put things in our body that are preserved, then our body can't digest them as well. It's harder to break down. It creates all sorts of other issues. So
good point.
We want things to be able to break down easily. That's why the fruit is the best thing to consume, because it breaks down the simplest. Our body doesn't have to work very hard, which is all alkalinity is. It's all about the ease on the body. So we need things that are easy to digest, not difficult.
Thank you, Justin. That is perfect.
Yep.
And with the kombucha also, it is made with sugar. And but they claim once it is fermented, there's no sugar left. Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So Fairman in America asks question, when you know kidneys are filtering through yellow urine and not clear, is urine supposed to be yellow all day or only in the morning when checking for filtration?
I would not worry about your the color of your urine. I think it's more important to see if there's any sediment in it. And that can be cloudiness, that can be strings, flakes, whatever. The color of your urine will change with whatever how much you've been drinking, what you have been drinking. The color can change with eating watermelon, even that makes a difference. But if you are dehydrated, your urine will be a darker color. Now, there is something that Dr. Morse has been talking about a few times lately, is that he learned from people who were detoxing that they actually had a dark urine, almost like there was blood in it, and there wasn't, and that was detoxing. So it can be any color, and I wouldn't worry about it. The things that I do worry about is if you're dehydrated, because that messes up your whole system. It messes up your health, you're detoxing, and it can keep you sick. So always make sure that you are well hydrated. And if you think that, you have this feeling, oh my God, I'm thirsty, and then need to drink, you are dehydrated already. So on an average, it depends on, maybe it depends on body weight. I don't know. But, on an average, 3 liters, if you talk about juices, 3 liters of juices and 1 liter of water would be good. So you get about a gallon in. And please never do a lot of water because they've told you that that would be a good thing. People died by drinking a lot of water. Did you actually know that it dehydrates? It can't go anywhere. It's just not working. But a liter would be good. That helps you with not having constipation, for one. So yeah, what can you add to it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily about the color of your urine, how hydrated you are, because it's all about your interstitial hydration, your cellular hydration. And this is more of a, you kind of have to intuitively feel into your body and see, am I hydrated or not? And for me, my signs of dehydration are I get dry lips, my mouth feels dry, I feel thirsty, and then I feel sort of like I get kind of like a brain fog as well when I'm dehydrated, because things just aren't flowing as well. And if it gets worse, I'll even start to get headaches. So I think it might be different, could be different feelings that come up for different people, but those are the symptoms for me when I'm dehydrated. And again, if we're on an all fruit or mostly fruit diet, you really shouldn't run into a hydration issue at all, because the fruit, the water within the fruit is going to be extremely hydrating. I think, yeah, drinking a little bit of water to help add some extra detox and extra flushing is great. But the fruit's going to really provide that optimal hydration to do. So just another reason to be eating lots of fruit.
Yeah, it didn't quite do that for me because I got dehydrated and it took me on all fruit, and it took me a few months to figure it out. So when I added some water to it, I felt better. Now the funny thing is, I always remember, when family members, they had a headache and they took an aspirin with a big glass of water, and then think that the aspirin killed the headache, but no, it was the water.
Yep.
And sometimes it can even be, and I know that from my husband, when he has lower back pain, it's like, did you drink enough today? Oh yeah, let me drink something. And he drink it, half an hour later, back pain is gone. So it is always listen to your body. Every aches and pains will tell you something, but it doesn't mean you need to worry because things are moving. When you're detoxing, stuff is moving. Sometimes you really feel it, and it can be, yeah, well, actually, I would say just embrace it. When you know that you're doing the right thing, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, well said. So we got a question from Salvaging Truth. I'm gonna change the wording here just for YouTube censorship, but many people are about to awaken to the fact they've been tricked into becoming experiments. Perhaps we should discuss a protocol for the certain type of heavy metal that's being injected into people and how to detox that. So just quickly on detox in general. So our body is designed to detox anything. Our body is designed to heal and regenerate. Our body is designed to be this wonderful healing mechanism. So the protocol doesn't change regardless. It doesn't change depending on what specific thing we're talking about, what heavy metal we're talking about, whether it's parasites or any of that. Because as soon as we get out of our body's way, then our body can regenerate and detox. So the fruit is going to be the optimal form of food to consume because it's the least inhibiting on the body to perform its functions. And then you can take it a step further by looking into fasting and things of that nature, which just gives the body more time to rest from digesting things and processing things and to looking into healing and detoxing. So it doesn't matter what has been injected or what has been consumed or whatever else, the protocol is going to be the same. You can look into methods of chelation using herbs like cilantro is fantastic for chelation. I've done in the past a heavy metal chelation where I either juice or in a blender make like a just blend up a bunch of cilantro and lemon juice, and then follow that about 30 minutes later with some water and activated charcoal. And the activated charcoal just kind of helps pull any heavy metals that the cilantro helped pull out of the cells. So that's a one method that you can use. But there are many, and if you talk to a good detox specialist, they can help you out with some good herbs to help target those kind of things.
Yeah, we have a chem metal detox formula that works pretty good. The body can handle a lot more than you would think, but with what is being used nowadays, we don't know. Even Dr. Moore says we don't know. But all that we can do is what you just said. You're on your, you work with your health anyway, and you get on the all fruit, you transition into that. The thing is that our bodies are actually stronger when we are all raw and high fruit, so we can handle more, and it's easier to detox it out. But if everything can be detoxed out, we don't know yet. Nobody knows. We don't have any answers for that. But yeah, all that we can do is follow well, we call it a protocol, but it is, a whole lifestyle change. And that is why we're here, for people go on all fruit and try to prevent, any forced ingestion of anything. We don't want to go there, and be healthy, stay healthy on the fruit regimen.
Mm-hmm.
And use, definitely make sure your kidneys are filtering, because it is so way more important than people realize. And yeah, that's actually all that we can say about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a reminder, because it's so important to do, to check to see if your kidneys are filtering. You just collect your urine in a glass jar in the morning, first thing, and let it sit there for, half an hour or so, and then come back to it. And if you see sediment within there, you can shake it up. If you see like little cloudy bits, or you know, it's not completely clear, then that means your kidneys are filtering out the lymphatic waste that they're processing, which is basically what the cells are. It's the waste from the cells. It's the sort of acidic waste that the cells are excreting. So if that's happening, then your kidneys are functioning to get rid of this waste. And if your urine is clear, that means that they need a little bit of help. And the best way is through through the fruit. You know, going back to this fruit-based diet, and then you can have herbs that help with that as well. But just want to remind people.
Yeah, there are herbs. There are the what is it? The castor oil packs that can help.
Mhm.
And I already know from someone who used a little bit too much cayenne that was not a great idea.
Hmm.
And I was going to test it, but I haven't yet.
It didn't. I tried it. Tried it twice. It didn't bother me. I didn't have any pain or anything of that nature, so I thought it was okay. I didn't really notice a huge change in my sediment to really make me want to lay there with the castor oil on for however long. But because it's a lot of effort to heat up a water bottle and put the castor oil and lay there.
I think it is important for people who do not see any sediment when they are on a mostly fruit. Well, let's say all fruit, no fats. If you have
Yeah.
fats or proteins in your diet, then no, that's not what we're talking about. When you are on all fruit, say for 2 months, and your urine is still absolutely clear, then it's time to get some extra help in. And if you haven't been on the herbal formulas, then I definitely suggest you do that, and I can help you with that to get you all the right ones. And that is where you use the castor oil packs. So, and I hear a lot of people, the first thing they always hear is like with, oh, you get the kidneys filtering. Yeah, you need to do dry brushing and rebounding. And it is a big no. I've done it. I messed up with that twice. The first time I didn't know, and the second time was just a test. I wanted to be 100% sure that that was the case. And knowing that my kidneys were not filtering, and I've had a rebounder for years, used it for years. And when my kidneys are not filtering, but I didn't know any better, I got this huge bump on the calf of my one of my legs, and very painful. And I had been going, actually, because this is quite a long time ago, I actually seen a doctor for that. They couldn't find anything. They had no clue what it was. Everything was fine. But I had this painful big bump on my leg. And then when I stopped the rebounder, it actually went away. I hadn't put a link to that back then. This was way before Dr. Morris. So last year, I was cleaning up, and I was like, oh, there's that rebounder. Let's see if that is really the case. So I tried it for 2 minutes, and I was used to be on it for like, well, 15, 20 minutes at a time. This was 2 minutes, and I got that same bump on my leg again, because you start moving the lymph, and it stagnates. It can't go anywhere, and it hurts. It's rather painful. And even if you have, it can cause a cyst. It can cause your lymph nodes to swell, because the lymph, you're moving the lymph. It has to go in somewhere. So my advice is always stop doing all that stuff. Just get your kidneys to fill it and be a little bit more patient. Because I know people want to be actively doing something, actively going into it, knowing that, you know, I'm going to do this. This has to happen now. But, you know, you got to your health and all your symptoms over the course of your life, you know, 20, 30, 60, 70 years. And now we want to fix it in, well, 2 weeks, maybe a month. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I know for myself, it's going to take quite a few years before I get to the point where I can say, I'm good, I'm healthy. I'm not there yet. It takes time. So I thought it was important to share, because I in the one of the groups I'm an admin. It's like it comes constantly. That comes up, and that is the kind of misinformation that can actually hurt people, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, great point. Good tips. Debbie asks, what can help with overwhelming emotions when following protocols of frugivore, breath work, taking no thought, etc.? So yeah, I mean, it's something that is a very common experience as we're detoxing physically. We start to detox emotionally and mentally as well. Things can come up. Old traumas can resurface. I've heard of people who have had certain bowel movements and horrible things have come out of them, and then they start to experience memories of some traumatic event or something, or even cravings of different sort coming out. So it's everything's connected, as above, so below, as with the universe, so with the soul, as the phrase goes. And so what happens internally is going to manifest in so many different ways. So as far as what can help with that, I think just being aware of it and knowing that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path, is really the best mindset to go into it. You're on a healing path. Things might surface, but it's because you needed to experience and go through them so that you could work past and move on from them. All of these things have been holding us back for so long. So whether it's an emotional block, or even just like a parasite, either way, it's inhibiting us the same. It's holding us back from reaching our highest self and our maximum potential. So when we go through the sort of detox symptoms of getting rid of that, if you can just sort of retrain and reprogram your mind to knowing that this is you working past them, and while it may be difficult, it means that the rewards are right around the corner. So the more that you sort of dig into it and stay consistent and embrace these sort of challenges, the quicker you can move through them, and the quicker you can get to the other side. But yeah, I mean, that would be my kind of general approach to that. It's and sticking with a community like this, reaching out to other people who do go through these experiences, and asking others if they've gone through similar things, or just having people to relate with is really a great way too. So those would be my big suggestions for that.
Yeah, those are all perfect. This is exactly how it works. There are still things that you can do actively, to feel better. And we all know, it's going out into nature, but there are so many other things that are healing too. It is sounds can heal, smells, colors can heal. With smells, I'm thinking of essential oils. And I'm actually trained as what do they call that? An essential oils specialist. So I can help you with that too. But do things that you love to do. And sometimes people are like, yeah, I don't know what I like to do. Yeah, you do know that. Whatever you enjoy. Long time ago, maybe it can be silly things. Like I have to admit, years ago I saw this coloring book, and I was like, oh wow, this is great. And I had been doing, when I was so sick, I had been doing that day in and day out. And when I got better, it was all of a sudden it was not needed anymore. But that was something, you would think like you would overlook it. So it's like not important. But yeah, a coloring book and some coloring, what do you call these things? Pens, what are they called? Well, you color with. What is
Like
the
a
name of that?
marker,
Oh, yeah, maybe color markers. I don't know what they are
colored
called.
pencils, colored
Yeah,
pencils.
color pencils. So I was on the right path. And I made beautiful things. I'm creative, you know. I never called myself an artist, but other did. But I think I am with all the designing that I did. But doing things that you really like to do, and it will help you overcome those feelings and the anxiety. And another thing is listening to the right frequencies. We always talk about the Tesla frequency. What was that? 369.
432 hertz,
Well,
432 hertz. Yeah.
that, yeah, and so and all these things will help. And I think I mentioned that before. I love going outside when you hear, also when you hear the birds, and it's like, my God, it's like they're singing just for me because I'm the only one out there. And enjoying things, it is so important to do things that you really, really enjoy, and that will get you through it. And then it's like what Justin said, you know, you can embrace everything. You will get through this. And I'm convinced everybody that is here to heal. And I know you can do it because you already made the first step on this journey. So my 2 cents.
Yeah, well said. Thank you for that. Lorianne asked, are olives a raw food? So they can be, but not typically. And raw olives are actually, for the most part, they're quite bitter. I've heard there are some rare species that are more palatable in their raw state, and some of them will actually cure in the sun and are okay to eat that way. But for the most part, all olives that, especially any that you find in a regular store, they're going to be cured in salt and then put in a lot of oil, and not raw at all. I mean, that's taking it out of its natural state. Olives are very high in fat. They're very difficult to digest, and so they're not a good idea to consume on a regular basis. Now, if you're on a transition and you throw some in a salad every now and again, you know, it's there are definitely much worse things to consume. And if you can find the ones that have the least amount of salt, and especially if you sort of soak them and try and get as much salt off of them before you eat them, that's going to be better. But overall, olives are not going to be a very elevating food to consume.
There's nothing I can add to that. Thank you, Justin.
Right. Awesome. And then she had another question. Is it okay to drink raw cacao tea? It's pure cacao with nothing added. So cacao is going to be, it's going to have caffeine in it, which is acid forming within our body. It's a stimulant. It's not going to be really good for us. Again, you know, if you're, I know a lot of people like cacao ceremonies and do it with some intention. You know, I think again, there are certainly much worse things that you can consume. But overall, if you're looking to bring your body into an alkaline state, cacao is going to do the opposite. So it's not going to help with that. It's not going to help with detox. It's not going to help with health in general. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like with coffee, it is a stimulant.
Mhm.
I can see where you are, you know, that sometimes you need to have a little different, and then you would do it, oh, maybe something special once a month. Then, you know, never make a big deal out of it. But on a regular base, which I did it, which a lot of people do, it's like, no, don't.
Yeah, it's not good overall.
Yeah.
So Bridget asked, is tea with boiled water counting as raw, or does it matter at all? It's not necessarily raw, but herbal teas, you know, if it doesn't have caffeine in it, if it's a herbal tea, that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, depends on the herbs and depends on, I guess, kind of what you're doing with it. But I haven't ever seen any evidence that herbal tea is going to be bad for us in any sort of way. But Toni, maybe you have more info on that.
You know, it is okay to do. I drink my daily kidney tea, and I love mint tea, spearmint tea. Dr. Morse's teas are actually boiled for 10 minutes. And that is to get all the, well, you could say get the power out of the herbs. and have it in the water, and then you drain it and drink it. So yeah, you can put boiled water on tea. That's fine. And yeah, is it raw? Instead, you can take the same herbs in a capsule form and get it in your body raw. But I think there is some enjoyment in a cup of tea. And I have not seen any negative results from it. So, and I have never heard Dr. Morris tell us to not drink tea. But yeah, no green tea. That's one thing that's for sure. Because you can say, well, that is an herb too, but it is very stimulating and it has caffeine in it. And I remember after I had a heart attack, and I was a green tea drinker, that matcha tea, oh my gosh, delicious.
Mm-hmm.
And that was for a year a big no-no. It's like, no, you can't drink that. And the good thing was soon after I met Dr. Morris, so it was over and out anyway. I still have a lot of matcha tea sitting around.
Andrew M asks, is coconut water okay? Also, reverse osmosis water with lemon. So coconut water is fantastic if as long as it's not bottled from a store. Usually it's got a lot of, in the store they put a lot of additives, it's pasteurized, so it's not going to be nearly as good for you as getting out of a coconut. So if it's straight out of a coconut, that's one of the best things, most hydrating fluids you can't drink. Now the coconut meat is going to be pretty high in fat, so I wouldn't recommend doing that on a regular basis, but the water is going to be fantastic for you. And then the reverse osmosis water with lemon, reverse osmosis is my only issue with those systems is they usually add in a lot of minerals to the water after it's been filtered, and added minerals just accumulate elsewhere in the body. They don't help us with anything, and they just lead to all sorts of issues later on. So I would much more recommend distilled water. And if you are going to drink water with minerals in it, then get it from a source, from the earth, not an artificially mineralized source from a system. So yeah.
Yeah, with reverse osmosis, when I was looking into systems in my house, I learned that you need 3 liters of water to get 1 liter of reverse osmosis water. And I was like, oh my God, that is such a waste. I'm not going to do that. So I've never done that. I do have a distiller, and I do have an Alexa Pure water filter. That works amazing. I've had it for, well, probably 6-7 years. Only had to put new filters in twice now. So, but the water here where I live is so bad that I actually put it in the filter, the Alexa Pure, and then it goes into the distiller, and then I drink it or use it for tea. And even my cats, I have a cat sanctuary, they get filtered water, definitely not tap water. But it was about the reverse osmosis. So for me, it was the waste of the water that you have with that. I don't like to waste things.
Yeah, good point. Sheila asked about coconut water. We just answered that. So Katie asked, when YouTube goes down, where will we be able to continue these discussions? Will the FreakSense website be able to host these kinds of live events? So I don't think, maybe Toni can answer, but I don't think we have capability to do live there just yet. But there are other options, and because this is all white hat controlled, like when YouTube goes down, they're going to make sure that information, the truth gets out in the way that it needs to. So there's going to be other platforms that arise. So wherever we go to host live events, we'll very much let everyone know. And maybe at that point, we'll have enough to get that capability added to the website as well. But definitely get on the website so that we can communicate with you, because that's going to be the safest and most consistent way for us to stay in touch with everyone. So if you haven't checked out freaksenseworld.com, there's a link to it in the show notes. get on there, sign up. It's free, no cost. And that's going to be the only space where Charlie's going to be making future posts, and that's going to be the space where we all can communicate and yeah, without the worry of censorship or things getting shut down. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, and I try to work on my own website, and it's not ready yet. I'm barely halfway done, but that will be fun with Detox, because we have to make Detox fun.
Yeah.
But it's not ready, so don't even go there. We will announce it when it's done. I hope in 2 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all a work in progress, but
Yeah.
it looks great, and it all works well. It does what we need to. So we'll just keep adding to it, and the more people that get on there, the better it gets. So hop on over and check it out.
Yeah, and the fun thing is now we have the maps on there, so we can see where people are, and they are sometimes surprised. It's like, oh my gosh, there is somebody in the next town, and they are fruitarians, and this is how people can connect, and even locally, and that's beautiful.
TH9 Low says, question, what about carob? Is it okay? So my understanding is that carob, if you're looking for that same sort of chocolatey flavor, carob is going to be a much better alternative to say you want to make some chocolate banana and ice cream. Carob's going to be much better to add to it than cacao or cocoa, because it doesn't have caffeine in it. It has a very similar taste. Some people actually prefer the taste of carob over cocoa, and I think it's technically a fruit, so you can, I think so. It's either a fruit or a bean pod. I don't know. So it's either way, it's a dry powder. It's not gonna like bring you health benefits. It's not gonna be this magical thing that helps you with anything. But as far as I would say it's a pretty neutral thing if you want to go for that same sort of flavor, but maybe Toni knows more about it.
Oh, just logic is you always wonder if how is it processed? How did it got to the state that is being sold to us? Did they need to roast it? Did it need to be I don't know, powdered, hydrated? I don't know. It's like the same as with stevia, a sweetener. Stevia is a plant, and you can actually buy the ground up leaves and use that as a sweetener in your tea. Very little, because it's a very strong taste, and I like it. But then you have the liquid and the white powders, and it's all stevia. It says 100% stevia, but you already know it doesn't grow on a tree as a white powder. How did it get to that point? With carob, it is a fruit, but I have not looked into how it got to the point that it is usable for us. Can you eat it when it comes right from a tree or a what is it, a bush? I don't know. It's but always look at that, what is done to process it, to make it edible for us. Because it's like with a coffee bean, there is absolutely no way that you can eat it as it is. And that's the same with maybe
I think you can eat carob raw. I have seen
yeah.
I have seen people say that it's actually quite delicious to eat carob raw. So yeah,
maybe it is again that it has to be ripened.
Maybe. So yeah, we're just gonna have to do some more research on that one.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I found just the types of carob, roasted carob, high heat, roasted up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and is a dark brown color. Raw carob, usually not truly raw, but heated to about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, well, then it's definitely not raw anymore, and is a lighter dark brown color. Really raw carob, either no heat or under 118 degrees Fahrenheit, a light brown color. So maybe that is what you have to look for, the color of the carob, so that you know how it is done. Yeah, and it comes from the pods of the carob tree. When the pods are ripe, the sweet pulp is removed, roasted, and ground into a fine powder. This powder is often a substitute for chocolate in baking recipes. So what you buy in the stores is not, it's not raw. It is roasted, but I see now mountainroseherbs.com. They have a lot of organic herbs, and they sell raw carob. I would say take a look there. Mountainroseherbs.com.
Good to know. Okay, well, that's the end of the questions in the chat, and we're just about at the top of the hour.
I have a feeling that I forgot one question that I got in. I can't find it anymore.
Okay.
Oh yeah, here it is. It is from Stephen with 2 teenage daughters, and they are trying to eat as much fruit as possible and are all vegan too. And he is a proud dad. Yeah, I can absolutely imagine that. I would be too. They are realizing how much crap they put in a lot of beauty products. They have been making their own, but sometimes it just doesn't cut it. Isn't that wonderful that they are already making their own beauty products? And he's asking any brands that are a bit better than most. I don't really use any, but what is it? Rosemary's Glad Star lotion. It's a rosemary Glad Star facial lotion. Dr. Moore sells it also. And Rosemary Gladstar put a book out, a PDF that you can find on the internet, but I actually have it already sent to Stephen. But if anyone is interested in that, it has a ton of recipes for things to make. And I was only focused on the facial lotion because I love that stuff, and sometimes use it as a body lotion. Now, the beauty of your fruit diet is you will come to a point you don't need any beauty products. You don't need any soaps, you don't need any shampoos, and definitely not conditioner. Never understood that stuff. But you don't need to put anything on your face or your skin because it's all getting perfect. But until you do, yeah, it's look into Rosemary Gladstar. I think it's even rosemarygladstar.com. If you want the book, it's I can email it to you.
Yeah, great points, and yeah, just encouraging with the diet, because then you don't need any of that. And I would just also, encourage them as well to just really celebrate who they are and how they look, and not be so worried about putting on makeup or anything like that. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I am personally most attracted to women who don't wear any makeup at all. I think it's absolutely beautiful when people are confident in who they are, confident in their own skin, and show that. So it might just be something to convey, because we have been conditioned in society to sort of wear these fake glamorized personas, and it's not the way the world is going. It's not, we're moving back to our natural selves and who we truly are. So that might just be something to consider. I'm sure I mean, it sounds like you're doing a great job raising them, so I'm sure you've already talked about that as well. And then I would just add that I love how Dr. Moore says, if you can't eat it, if you wouldn't eat it, don't put it on your skin, because your skin's going to absorb everything that you put on it just the same way as if you ate it in your mouth. So just keep that as a general rule of thumb. If it's got an ingredients list that you wouldn't eat, then I wouldn't put it on your skin.
Isn't it funny? You go to the store and it's like, can I try it? And then you put it in your mouth and it's like, are you crazy? Yeah, that has been my rule, I think, for the last 20, 30 years, if not longer. It's like because there's so much junk. In my younger years, dry skin, and I tried everything out, and within 3 to 6 months, I was always allergic to the product. And then I searched for a new product. I wish I had known about, an alkaline lifestyle. Oh my gosh, I would have saved so much money.
Right.
Yeah, but now we know. So when you know, then you can do better. You have to do better.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
All right, Toni. Well, did you have any closing comments for today?
Only that I'm very happy with all the people that have been listening and asking questions. And, I think everybody knows by now where they can reach me. And I would say, love you all. Until the next time.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, just make sure to email over those questions if you have any for next time. And yeah, thank you all for being there.